Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the first round of the playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens, and unfortunately we lost in 5 games. And to make things worse, we lost the best player we've ever had in a franchise mode retire, as Mauricio decided to hang them up at the age of 39 with over 2,000 career points and no Stanley Cup to show for it. So it kind of sucked a lot, but we're obviously up here for another season because we only have a few more seasons left of this, and we kind of still want to see how this team does even without him, obviously, because our roster on paper still doesn't look that bad, but obviously losing Wilm, he was kind of like the heart and soul player for many, many years, so it is kind of a worse team on paper, but it still looks decent considering we've drafted guys like Ozens and Boucher who have really helped out a lot, because obviously if we didn't draft these guys, I think our team would look a lot worse than it currently does, but there is a chance that we could still have some pretty big retirements coming this upcoming season, including like Lehman and Ahinen, who are both 36 and 37 years of age. Also, Boys is getting up there too, and Del Rivera is as well. So we have a lot of guys that could still retire in these last few years, but hopefully we can kind of just maintain our roster and then go into next season, and hopefully our team is still able to produce offensively and play maybe a better defensive game without Wilm in our lineup, obviously. Kind of sucks that he didn't retire to become a coach or something like that. That would have been nice because obviously I would have had him as our head coach, but unfortunately that's not the case. But anyways, that is that. Let's get into your guys' comments now and get into this offseason, obviously, because we got a lot of work to do in terms of maintaining this team and hopefully giving this team a chance to win itself a Stanley Cup still, even though we don't have Mauricio. So the first 2 comments are from Logan Made. The first one says, Wilm goes on to be a professional handshake instructor. His ability to look a man in the eyes, shake his hands while not crying, led him to great success in his new career. And yeah, that would be really weird having Mauricio becoming a handshake instructor after his career. Like, obviously, he has all the money in the world. He could probably do something a lot better than being a handshake instructor. No offense to any handshake instructors out there, but that's still kind of a funny career choice for him afterwards, considering the fact that he shook so many hands and didn't have any playoff success really, other than that one finals that we went to. Logan also says Del Rivera is probably the best choice for captain for the rest of the playthrough. So if we are to promote a captain, he's saying Reese Del Rivera, which is an interesting one considering Del Rivera isn't like the guy that's been here the longest out of the bunch. I don't even know if I'm going to name a new captain, to be honest, but obviously when you go up there in age-wise, Lehman, Ahinen, and then Del Rivera, Boys would be up there, but I don't think Boys and Ahinen deserve it for sure. Lehman maybe has a deserved chance at it just because he's been here a very long time. He's probably one of the better players in the series, but still Reese Del Rivera would be probably a better option in a sense, considering he's not going to just retire after one season probably. And he has had some pretty good seasons here. He's got 1,071 points through 1,200 games. Meanwhile, Lehman, who could be a captain, has 1,510 points in 1,550 games. So I might be leaning towards more Lehman if I was to name a new captain, but I honestly don't think I will name a new captain this upcoming season, which means likely if Lehman retires, then Del Rivera could honestly take that captaincy, but we don't necessarily need a captain for the start of the year. We might just have a bunch of alternates. The next comment is from Sound Otaku. It says, Godspeed to Mauricio. See if he'll be available as a coach or scout. Time to YOLO it for the rest of the series. Auto-sim the drafts, put whatever lines together and see how it all finishes out. I would even auto-sim the first 2 rounds of the playoffs if you make it that far. The biggest tragedy in all this is your desktop. I had an aneurysm when I saw it, LOL. And first and foremost, yeah, my desktop is a complete mess. I just don't keep organized. I clean it once in a while, like once every few months, but it just keeps on getting messy all the time. Like when I download stuff, sometimes it downloads right to my desktop, so it just gets really, really messy. But anyways, as what you were saying about like finishing up the series a lot faster, I don't think I'm going to do that because I think it's just probably better just to still take it as we currently are. So like a season sim and all that stuff. Playoff wise, taking it one episode at a time. Yeah, we are going to maybe be a lot worse, obviously, considering we don't have Mauricio, but I think it's still kind of better to justify this series by keeping the team together and kind of just doing our normal sim through. But likely by the time you guys see this video, I might have a poll out for the throwback franchise mode series that will start to replace this series once this one is over. So if I do have it, I will post it in the description. It would be one of the first links probably, and I'll also probably put it in a pinned comment so you guys could go vote on that. I'll also probably mention on the community tab too, so that way you guys could find it a little bit easier. And yeah, then we could kind of figure out what we want to do for our throwback series that will replace this once this one actually comes to its conclusion. The next comment is from Ian.Nolov, who says, I swear I would be fuming if you gave up on this project without Mauricio and decided to auto-skip anything. Just regardless, was the effort not worth trying until the very end? I understand the frustration, but you never know how the sim can go and which players you could snatch that will be ready to take over NHL. Never give up, keep up the grind. You got 3 seasons minimum here. No way the Raiders will downfall after losing Big C. Stay resilient and focused on winning everything you can. Am a big believer. I think he's what he's trying to say there. But I was just more in the moment, just saying, because obviously losing Mauricio was a big blow and whatnot. I was just like, oh, maybe we should just kind of end this series early, because obviously, like, once you lose a big player like that, you don't really know how your team's going to look on paper. I still think our team actually looks not that bad on paper. But obviously, if it was a lot worse, it would probably make it tougher for me to do the rest of this. But obviously, considering we're so close to the end, I'm obviously going to be doing the rest. It was just more of a thing that I said, spared a moment. But hopefully, we can kind of keep this team together for next season. And hopefully, we still simulate good offensively without Wilm. Because obviously, we've never played without Wilm before. So who knows what our team's going to be doing offensively. Like, we might have a top line of Boucher, Ozens, and like Del Rivera next season, which would be weird. And the last comment is from Michael Dose, who just says, play the game out with Mauricio. Who knows? And yeah, honestly, who knows what the heck's going to happen with this team without Mauricio, because it seems really weird that he's not on our team anymore, because down the middle we're definitely a little bit weaker, because obviously we could use Wilm as centers, but Boucher would probably be the top line center. Ahinen's probably going to be in the top 6, which isn't ideal considering the fact he's dropping off. We could also use Richter in the top 6 if we want to. We got Coop maybe as a 4th line guy. Like, we definitely still have a pretty solid roster on paper. Like, Sexsmith is going to maybe get an opportunity this season because of that. But obviously, it's just all about affording this entire team, and hopefully we're able to afford everybody back. And yeah, hopefully everybody wants to come back, or else our window might just start to fall off even more so, because the last few years we've been kind of falling off a little bit. So I'm hoping that we obviously could somehow make a good surprising run this upcoming season. But anyways, let's get into this draft and see if there's anything we could snag up here at this point. I don't really know if there's going to be. I'm not going to be focusing too heavily on these drafts, because at this point we're not going to get anybody that's usually ready before the series ends. So I'm not going to focus too much on it, but obviously I am going to still try and get ourselves some good deals to set this team up for what future success would be if the series was to go longer than 25 years. But yeah, Washington and Pittsburgh both have the first 2 picks, and they want to trade both, which is kind of funny. We aren't drafting till like 20-something. I can't remember what part, though. 28th, yeah. So we're not probably going to get anything super good in this draft, but you never know. We're obviously going to do our due diligence and see if we could find some good players. But let's take a look at this year's top 5 anyways, just for fun. Washington at 1 is going to take Rathje, who's an 84 overall sniper. That's actually a pretty high overall. Wasn't expecting this guy to be an 84. So there's Silas Rathje. Of course, the Capitals get themselves a nice sniper to replace Ovechkin, in a sense. I mean, I think they drafted one a few years ago too, though. So Andrews goes to Pittsburgh. He's an 82 overall playmaker. Okay, Weston Andrews. Those 2 guys would probably be good on a similar line together. Good playmaker, good sniper. Ferrario goes. He's an 80 overall playmaker, but he's a right winger. Okay. And we have Buffalo and Edmonton to go. Buffalo will take the defenseman in Stapleton. 2-way defenseman. And the Oilers, what are they going to take? A top 6 forward in Pikkarainen, who's 77. Kai Pikkarainen. So there we go. That is your top 5 of this year's draft. Let's send to our pick and see if we could find anything interesting at our point. But likely these guys won't be able to make it before the series ends. So we don't know anything on Dwayne McKenna. Patterson's probably a guaranteed top 4, but he's probably not super great. Then there's a top 9, a top 6 D that's an offensive defenseman, which is kind of intriguing, but he's not going to make it before the series ends. I might be leaning towards the top 6 forward, considering our forward group is a little bit weak. This guy looks NHL ready almost 1 year out. So Caleb Tampolini likely is going to be our selection here. Yeah, I think it's going to be Caleb Tampolini. Both these guys actually play for the Wenatchee Wild, which is interesting. So they were probably former line mates at some point. But this guy's 3 years out. Even if he's a little late and 3 years out, Tambellini being only 1 year out as a top 6 is much better for us at this stage. So I think Caleb Tambellini is going to be our selection here. Yeah, Law's 2 years out, so we're going to go for Caleb Tambellini and give ourselves another prospect that maybe we're able to get into the lineup before the series ends. 73 overall, that's pretty decent. Obviously, he's only 17 years old. He actually does have an X factor, which is relentless, so that's kind of neat. He is a sniper with some very good shooting for a top 6 forward, so I like that pick actually quite a bit. I think this guy might be able to make it if he gets good enough growth within a year. I hope he does. But that's a pretty good pick. Obviously, that kind of helps out things a little bit with our forward depth chart if we end up losing people. We also do need more center prospects because, like we were saying, Ahinen's currently our second-line center. Once he retires, our center depth gets even worse. So drafting somebody like Tambellini is kind of imperative. So I like that pick a lot. Let's see if we could find any other steals in this draft to help out our team a little bit. But obviously, it's going to be harder and harder to find somebody that's actually NHL ready or something like that, or close to being NHL ready. Might have to sort by potential at this stage already. Yeah, this... Ooh! Okay, Audette looks intriguing. Very intriguing. I didn't expect him to look that good. I don't think he's actually going to be that good, but you never know. He's not scouted that much, so it's a bit of a risk, but it's a risk that we would probably want to take. There's another guy from the Wenatchee Wild who might be elite. That's interesting too. But I don't know if he'd be making it before the series ends because he's like 5 years out. So he's probably a very low overall. There's also Gertson who looks decent but 3 years out. I think I'm going to take a chance on the defenseman here in Audette, which might be a risk considering nothing is guaranteed. But it does say that he has no weakness for sure. And he might be 2 years out. So it's a risk, but hopefully he's a low lead that's a high overall, because maybe he makes it before the series ends. So Jacques Audette, welcome aboard. He's a medium top 6 defenseman. That sucks. So that is not great. Hopefully those other players weren't as good as we were thinking. I mean, this guy's pretty balanced. He is a top 6 defenseman. He might be able to make it, but I don't think before the series ends, unfortunately. So we're probably going to get into that stage where we're not going to be drafting some good players, but never know. There is one guy I pinned here who could be low elite in Bergfors. We might as well take a chance on him, but there is a gem that's a low 4. Guaranteed. Makes me think Bergfors could be a low 4 as well, but we're going to take a chance on Bergfors. See, as he's low elite, he's a low 4. Expected. Yeah, we're going to be at that stage where the rest of this draft class is not going to be good enough to make it to the NHL before the series ends, but at least we got ourselves a good first round pick that could end up making it, but I don't think we're going to really get anything else intriguing here. Top 9 power forward and really low overall probably. There is Dwyer, who I pinned, who's supposed to go late in this draft. Let's just take him. See if we can start finding some low elite stay. 49 overall low elite power forward. I don't think we're going to see this guy before he makes his debut. But that's a decent steal for sure. Obviously, if we would have taken him in the 7th round, it would have been better even. But decided to take him early, and we get ourselves a low elite at least, which is better than probably what else was out there in the earlier stages. Let's see. Is there any other guys that could be elite? Maybe some of these guys, but I doubt it. Let's take a look. And this guy might be an elite goalie, but I doubt it. Yeah, I don't really know if any of these guys are elite. Mathers is only 18 though. There's not really any other good potential guys, so I think I'm just going to go for Reese Mathers here and take him at this stage. Medium fringe, guess that's okay. I mean, like I said, this kind of sets up the team at least for some future success if we're somehow able to get it to go longer, but unfortunately, there's no way to get it to go longer. Unless we were to remake every single player again and do another 25 years, but obviously that wouldn't really make much sense. Yeah, this draft class has definitely dropped off a lot. So I don't even know what I really want to go for at this stage. Let's just look through some player attributes and maybe we'll see some good attributes here. If we see any A's, then that might be the guy we want to take. Oh, there's a B- there potentially with Raymond. And let's go with Patrick Raymond, sure. Low 7th D, goddamn. Well, at least like I said, our first round pick was good. The other ones, Lowly is still a bit of a wild card before the series ends, but if he gets a lot of growth fast, then maybe. Let's see, can we find anybody intriguing? There's another guy with B-. Couple B-minuses, actually, maybe. Ben Pensick. Let's take a chance on you. Low bottom 6. Oof. Okay, yeah, that was not a great draft. Not a great draft at all. I'd say that first round pick, though, I'm excited about, and obviously Dwyer, too. But those rest of those guys, I don't think are going to make it before the series ends. So, at least we got a good player in Timpolini in an area that we need. So, because centers are kind of a top priority almost with this team. But now we get to the important thing, the re-sign stage. We got to sign some scouts back, so let's do that first. But the re-sign stage is going to be a little bit of a tough one. Obviously, a lot of players might not want to come back after Mauricio decided to retire. I hope they do, though. I don't even know how much money we have to spend on these RFAs either. So, $31 million in cap space. So, if Mauricio didn't retire, we'd be only at like 20-something million, which is kind of crazy. But let's start letting go of some of these AHL guys that aren't going to make it. Or they already made it for a while, but they're dropped off a lot. So, like Gertson and stuff like that. Like, these guys are kind of pointless to hold on to at this stage. I could always bring some of them back, but I'm going to free up some roster spots for guys like Verbata to get into the AHL. Because that'd be nice. Lombardi is an intriguing one. Kind of 65 and 19 is not bad, but he's got terrible potential. He was a third-round pick, though, so let's give this guy an opportunity, too. And this Ahinen isn't that good, so I'm going to release him. Let's leave the rest of those guys for now, though. What about goalie-wise? McCammon is going to get his ELC. For sure. There we go. Let's go to RFAs here. We're going to qualify all of our RFAs, I think. Yeah, probably. Unless they want two-way deals already. That'd be nice. Hey, Sexsmith already wants a two-way deal, so you got that there, Sexsmith. Komatov. He wants also two-way. You got it. Snyder. Let's give you a two-way. And Klein, let's give you a two-way deal. So, Booze and Coop will get qualified, so let's just send them qualifying offers. And that's all good. Unsigned wise, I don't think we can't even really sign Tambolini because he's not AHL eligible, so I have to leave him for a year, which is okay. That's all good and ready to go. Let's check UFAs here. What do we got? So basically we got Ahinen, Boys, Burish, Cracknell, Dodge, Mangone, Turnbull to re-sign for the NHL, which is not bad. Let's start off with Heikel, two-way deal. You got it. You're only 25, so we'll bring you back for the AHL. We are going to let go of Kozlov again, but there is a chance he could come back. Stewart was really good in the AHL last year. We're going to give him another one-year deal if he wants to, just to make that AHL defensive core a little bit stronger. We got to make some decisions on these other defenders, though, because we have a bunch of 77s. I don't think we need to bring them all back. Cracknell actually does want to come back, but Mangone and Turnbull do not. So, but obviously we want to make sure our defensive core is kind of strong. Dodge will give you the 1.15. That's cheap. That's very cheap. Burish, I want to bring him back, even if it's a bit pricey. I will bring him back on a 2-year deal at a little bit more than he's asking for, just because I think he might want to reject. So he's decent enough. Maddox Boys is pretty expensive, but we got to keep him around because we need our defensive core to be strong. Obviously, I don't think there's going to be any former players in free agency. We could actually take a look at that first before offering him a contract. And then we are going to give Ahinen a 1-year deal at what he's asking for, because that's really cheap compared to what he was making before. So let's advance the day, see if we get those current guys at least. If there's any rejections in there, at least we'll know about them here early on, which I think I saw one. Yeah, it was Dodge, okay. Yeah, we're going to definitely have the cap space to re-sign everybody, which is great. So, at the same time, losing Mauricio at least helps us with our cap situation a bit, it seems like. But let me take a look if there's any former players that are pending free agents that could be in the free agent pool first, because we could easily bring back some more former players to compensate for the loss of Mauricio. Let's see. Let's just go UFAs, because obviously we don't have any former RFAs, but let's take a look and see if there's any former players here that are intriguing. Let's start off with, obviously goalies don't really matter too much because we already got a bunch of goalies. Let's see, defense, there's not really any former defenders better than Boys, so we'll probably just bring back Boys for what he's wanting. Yeah, we'll probably bring just back boys. He's going to probably drop off before the season starts, but trying to see if there's anybody else that would have played with us that could be in free agency again. Not really seeing anybody at all right now. So, oh wait, maybe Haken. That's our former Haken, right? Yeah, Haken might be a free agent again, but he might get re-signed. So, he's not a huge upgrade anyways. Center-wise... Oh, there is Israel Hartman, who's up to an 84. Hey, if Hartman heads back to free agency, bringing him back to help out that center depth would be great. So I'm hoping that he is back there again, and hopefully he's not asking for too much. But he also might be on statistical growth right now. But let's go to the re-sign stage. I think we should be able to afford all these guys and still have money for free agents too, which is good. So we'll start off by going to Boys here, giving him the 1-year deal. Yeah, basically what he's asking for. I think he'll accept. Let's give a little bit more money to Dodge just because we need him as a depth forward or something like that. But then it's also Cracknell, Mangone, and Turnbull. We got to look at 2.375 is quite a bit for a 77. 1.5 isn't really that much at all. So I'm thinking Mangone and Cracknell will be the guys I bring back, and Turnbull would be gone. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I think Turnbull held out the entire last time, and we brought him back in free agency at the start of the season. So we are going to let go of Turnbull for now and hope his asking price goes down. And then we are going to bring back Mangone. If he wants to accept that 1.5, I might ask him or give him a little bit more. And then Cracknell, I'm going to give you a 1-year deal as well and see if you accept that. Let's see if those guys accept those contracts. Looks like we got all accepts. So we're on $17.605 million in cap space with only 2 RFAs that are still holding out but are going to be relatively cheap. So we should have enough money to get ourselves some good free agents if we have any former players back there in the free agent pool. Because obviously those are the only free agents we could actually sign. So let's sim to free agency and see what is out there for former players. Hopefully there's some good former players that I didn't see before, because that would help us out a lot. So obviously we don't really need to look for former goaltenders because we already got a good 1-2 punch. So I'm not going to even really focus on goalies at all. Defensively, is there any good former defenders? Obviously, last year is when we brought back Burish, so it would be nice if there is another former defenseman here to help strengthen our defensive core a bit. Just to see if there's anybody out there. We're going to scroll through this until we go to like the 77 overall players at least. Just to see if there was anybody that might have dropped off a bit. But right now, I'm not seeing any former defenders, which kind of sucks. Because I think that's our area of struggle right now. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anybody that used to play for us. There's Turnbull again, but obviously I think he'll be there still at the start of the season, or in a month, and he might be way cheaper. We don't necessarily even need to bring him back. Fragapane, why do I recognize Fragapane? Did we draft this dude? We did. 15th overall. I completely forgot about Hayden Fragapane. Even though we just let him go like last offseason, I guess. He played a year in the Rangers and he was actually pretty good. Huh. I don't really think Fragapane's what I'm looking to bring back. He's kind of similar to all the other defenders, so I don't think I'm going to bring him back. But obviously if he's there at the start of the season, maybe we could bring him back. But yeah, there's not really anything on the defensive side of things. That kind of sucks. What about right wing wise? Let's see. There's got to be some former forwards, right? You'd hope for at least one or so. Somebody that we have not seen in a while. I mean, some of them are probably retired by now, but you never know. Do not see anybody so far on the right wing side of things. I mean, I might be bypassing some because I can't even see them. Like, it's a lot of names on this list here. Do I see any former right wingers? No. What about left wingers? Joel Weber's back in free agency. And obviously he's asking for less than last year. Do I bring back Joel Weber for one last run? He had a good season last year in Winnipeg. He also actually played in Toronto. I didn't realize Tampa traded him. Or actually, no, Tampa didn't trade him. Winnipeg traded him at the deadline last year to Toronto. And he also went 19 games into the playoffs. So Toronto went pretty far with him in the lineup. I don't know. Do we need Joel Weber? I'm going to look and see if there's a need for Joel Weber. There is also Taro Haken, so there is some left wingers. I'm going to look and see if we need those type of guys. I don't know if we do, but obviously I could look at that and see. Yeah, I think those would be the only ones I would be looking to get, especially on the left wing side of things. What about center-wise? Do we got any former centers that I don't remember? This is not the best free agent pool, to be honest, too, so doesn't seem like there's a lot of former players heading to the market anymore. There's Reese Addison, but he's not really much of anything. I mean, I could sign him for the AHL. How's he been? 70 points in 229 NHL games, and then he's also been a good AHL player. Yeah, well, bring back Reese Addison. Why not? He could be the replacement for Kozlov, who we just let go of. So Reese Addison will come back to the AHL team and / NHL team, be kind of like a depth option. I don't mind that. He's really cheap too, so might as well give him a contract. So that's all good. Now the question is about Weber and Haken. Can we bring them back, or do we need them back? Because currently, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Technically, Dodge, is he a depth forward? He is. And Sexsmith is too. But Sexsmith is somebody I wouldn't mind getting in the lineup because of his shooting. But Dodge I could use as a healthy scratch. I think I'm going to try and bring both of them back. And if I can't slot some of those guys in the lineup, so be it. We need to just make sure that we are a good team for next season. So I'm going to try and bring back both Weber and Haken, because I have the money to spend on them. It might be a bit expensive, but let's do a 1-year deal on this for Weber. Give him more than he's asking for, because obviously Washington's also interested. Let's do a 1-year deal at 9.5. Might be an overpayment, but we got to bring in some good depth to make this team as competitive as possible here. Let me sort this by overall again so we can see Haken. Let's get him as well on a 1-year deal. And let's give him 3.7, I guess. Just to give us a bit more depth on forwards, because obviously losing Wilm will make us a bit weaker. So that's what we're going to do contract-wise, is bring back a couple former players if they want to come back to the team. And obviously we'll be interested to see what our lineup is looking like for next season. So, Weber, you douche. He goes to Washington. He didn't want to come back, apparently. It's probably because he got a multi-year deal with Washington, my guess. Addison did return, though, and Haken does return. So at least we got Haken back. But not getting Weber kind of sucks a lot, because this could be one of the last years he plays in the NHL. What did he get paid? Let's see. He got just paid a little bit more than what we asked. So I guess Washington was also thinking a 1-year deal. So there is a chance we could bring him back next offseason, but the chances he's dropped off in overall is pretty highly. So he might not be the same type of player by then. But damn, man, that would have been nice to kind of just reunite him with our team a bit. But it's okay. It's not the biggest problem in the world, considering we already have pretty good offense. But bringing in Haken gives us a bit more selection in our lineup. Obviously, left wing is already a strong point on our team, but it's just good to have that depth in case our team isn't doing too well. Okay, let's go to our contract situation, because we do still have our RFAs. Let's just sign them up, considering we have the cap space. So 1.825, that's good enough for me. And then we also have Coop, who only wants 1775, so that's good. Perfect. Okay, it should be interesting to see what our team is looking like for next season. Obviously, it's going to be really weird without Wilm, but we got to take it forward and hope that we can win a Stanley Cup. Obviously, if we get to the playoffs again, we could always joke around that Mauricio is in the press box watching over the team or something like that. Maybe he's technically the guy that would take my GM job after I technically end my 25 years. We could just kind of have like a, I don't know, a fictitious story for after the fact. But let's get our line set up here and see what we're working with. I think we're going to be decent. But I don't know how the offense is going to translate without Wilm. So goaltending is obviously very good. We have a 90 and an 89 now. So Zadorov has taken over Burkov's starting role. That's a very interesting thing. Very interesting. Our goaltending might be too good here. Now the only thing is Burkov, I think, is still signed for one more season after this. No, this is his last year of his contract, so this is the perfect time for basically him to technically leave the team at the end of the season. So, shout out to Zadorov, but yeah, likely this might be Burkov's last season with the team. But it would be nice to bring him back, obviously, but that goaltending is way too good to be like that. From a defensive standpoint, Cardwell, Booz, Ramo, Kavanaugh, Burish, Boys, Cracknell is a depth defenseman. I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't mind it. And then Mangone could stay in the AHL for now, but he could get called up. I don't mind it. It's good. Right wing wise, we got Del Rivera, Raymond, Jacobson, and Colborne. We also do have Sexsmith, who I would like to call up if possible. Left wing side of things, Ozens, Hamalainen, Lehman, who dropped down to an 83. Jeez. That's so weird. Haken and Booze. Okay. So that looks good. Heikkila down there in the AHL's a 77 is fine. We have Winquist, who could get called up, but I'm not going to call him up. We will call up Sexsmith. Do we need to call up anybody else, though, as a depth, like defenseman or something like that, just to make sure? We have injury replacements. Ramo, Booze need to be in the lineup. Oh, boy. Yeah, we are in a little bit of a problematic thing here, because Booze should be easily in the lineup over somebody like Haken. But now that we brought in Haken, that makes us a little bit... I don't know if I like that. We're going to have to rework this and see what we want to do here. Let's rework this, see if we can find something that works good. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do here. I think I want Booze in the lineup over Haken. I might honestly send Haken down to the AHL to start the season, and we could call him up for the playoffs. Kind of just like, I know it's kind of weird, but I don't have a roster spot for him at the moment. Ramo needs to definitely be in the lineup on the defensive side of things over somebody like Cracknell. There's no question about that, so we'll get Ramo in. We'll likely swap like that. That looks good. And yeah, that goaltending. Oh, wow. Burkov actually gets made the starter because of his X factors. That's interesting. Huh. So you could be a depth. Yeah, see, Cracknell and Haken might complain about ice time. Haken especially will. So I'm going to send Haken down to the AHL. Call up Heikkila as a depth forward. And actually, Dodge is there too. I'm going to call up Dodge instead as a depth forward. And then Haken's going to play in the AHL for a bit. I know it seems weird considering we just signed him for an NHL deal. But it's more just because I don't want to lose him on waivers that we're going to send him down before the season starts. And then, like I said, we could call him up for the playoffs. So we're kind of cheesing the system a little bit, but not by too much. So let's go best AHL lines. That also will help some of the younger players down there having a veteran. But I didn't realize we're going to be that deep on the left wing side still. Okay, so goaltending, we need to get McHammond in with Mauricio McKenzie instead of Demetrius Morgan. So we do have 3 goalies in the AHL now, which is interesting. In terms of this, let's get our top prospects, obviously, to the top line. Who's scratched? Just Morgan. So we got to get, let's see, most of these guys aren't super young. We got to get Verbata to the top line here. We'll just go Haken second line, Heikkila third line, Snyder fourth line. Erat needs to be higher in the lineup. Addison could be right here, I guess, on this line. Komatov is 24 already. Karpatsev, what potential do you have? Only low 6. That's not great. I don't even know how I'm going to get rid of this minus. Winquist should be probably first line. He was really good last year. We'll get him up. Jennings on the second line. Galiev, Piper. That looks actually pretty decent. Not that terrible chemistry-wise, but it's good. Good mix of veterans. Defensively, we will probably try and just get rid of this minus here like that. Klein's a little elite, so he should probably be a little bit higher in the lineup over Mangone. That looks good. Yeah, the HL team looks not too bad. Not too bad on paper. And then NHL-wise, let's just see what the power play is set up like. I'm going to take, what is it? I'm going to take Lehman and put him on the point. And I'm going to take take Coop off the power play in general. And we will get, Actually, yeah, we'll take Raymond, put him here. And then take Coop off this spot, put Cracknell on the line. Or not Cracknell, Cardwell. That's who I wanted to put it on the power play. And then also I want to see Ozens, Boucher, Ahinen. That's all playmakers, really. That's not great. We need a shooter on this line. Cardwell has to come off, so I will give them... Raymond is on the first unit. Is Del Rivera on the first unit? Probably, right? Yeah, he is at center. Trying to think of who we want to put in this spot. Someone that's a decent shooter, but we have a lot of playmakers. Trying to think. Maybe Richter? Actually, we could always do Coop, but I'm going to go with Richter here. There we go. That way we at least have a shooter on this unit, because if it's just too much passers, they're not even going to shoot the puck. So, and then these other units, I guess we'll have to do the same type of thing. Take Coop off this one, and we will put Cardwell on this one, because I want Cardwell to do well as a defenseman. Does make it a -1, but that's okay for now. I don't know if I really like how some of these special teams are looking, but that's okay. And then, is Lehman already there? Yeah, he is. We'll take Cardwell off this unit. I honestly don't know if this is going to work well, but hopefully it does. We'll go with Richter on this part. Yeah, it's not the best power plays for the 4-man unit, but that's okay. The 4-man unit don't matter as much. But this is still a solid-looking team. Yeah, this is still a solid-looking team. It's not the best, obviously, considering there's no Wilm, but it's not terrible. I've definitely seen a lot worse teams like win Stanley Cups before, but there is that. Let me just see the captaincy, see if it set a new captain. It did. It made Lehman the captain. I'm going to assign him and make him an alternate, and we're going to leave it so there's no captain this year. So Lehman and Del Rivera could be alternates for sure. I'm not sure if Hamalainen should get an A, or if it should go to Ahinen or Boys since they were here longer. Trying to think of who deserves it the most. I feel like Bernard Boucher could deserve it. Like, he's that like kind of next future player. Him and Ozens. Cardwell would actually be a good option too. I'm gonna strip Hamalainen, and we're gonna put it on Cardwell, because I think Cardwell's a good shout for defense. So those are gonna be our captains for the season. We're not gonna actually have a set captain in stone. Final few things we want to take a look at before the end of this episode is like the contract situation and stuff like that. I just want to know who's up for renewal again this offseason. Similar players again, Lehman is up there. There's a good chance we have a lot of retirements this year. Yeah, this might be the last year for our team to have a good run. Because if we lose these 3 guys, that makes us a lot weaker, so... But at least our goaltending is super, super strong. It's really nice that our Burkov and Zadorov contracts end in the same year, so we could give Zadorov a ton of money. Holy crap, if he wants 8 years, he wants $16 million bucks. So he's going to cost us a lot, but we're probably going to just try and lock him up for the rest of the series for sure, because I think Burkov might be in his last year here for sure, because he's trying to get paid a lot. But it's going to be interesting to see who ends up playing more games this season. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll simulate our first season without Mauricio. We'll see what ends up happening and see if our team's able to actually win games without him, if we're still able to score decently. I think this team definitely can make it to the playoffs. That's permitted that Lehman and Ahinen and stuff like that don't drop off too much throughout the course of the season. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.